today's episode is all about being a bench warmer. So, what do you think being a bench warmer is like? Who's a bench warmer? What's the point of not being a bench warmer?
Well, the point is you got to get off the bench.
Right.
You got to get off the bench, and sometimes we start thinking, well, I'm getting all the bad calls, or they're sending me to the wrong part of town, or my customers don't have much money, or I'm only getting the $59 cleaning checks.
Right on.
Or I only run preventive maintenance calls, and so we don't perform, and we end up just sitting on the bench.
Right. Meanwhile, we're looking at everybody else that's in the game and going, well, sure, if I had those customers, I could do that.
If I had that guy.
Well, yeah, sure, if dispatch liked me as much as they like that cat, sure. If my boss was different, right? Okay, yeah. And there's bench warming in life as well, but we'll stick to work. So here's what I learned about bench warming, and I've been really, really lucky. I'm generally not the smartest guy in the room, but like I've been really lucky to work with some smart people, and here's what I learned from them. At some point, somebody took me aside, and they explained that life, we're kind of all in this, and we all go through this same journey where we're in this little boat. What did you call it earlier?
A John boat.
A John
in the
boat.
South, we call it a John boat.
A John boat. A little
He
dinghy.
wants to call it a dinghy.
A dinghy. So, like, you know what I mean? It's like a little boat, and you've got this tiller, and it's like attached to the rudder, and like it's our job in life to go ahead and decide where that boat goes, right? Now, sure, you can get into it. Some of us have yachts, some of us have family boats, but for most of us, we get the boat we get, right? And that's just how it goes. And all we can really do is decide where it goes. Now, for the most part, what I've learned is that everybody, what is it they say? Every ship has a good captain in calm waters. But what I've learned about champions, what I've learned about professionals is that it's what you do when the waves start to come, and the waves can easily come at you. And in life and during the day, you can have a plan for a call, but when you go in and the big waves start coming, the temptation is just to pop your hands up and sort of grab for cover. And at that point, if you're not steering your boat, who is?
Well, those are the curveballs, right?
Those are the curveballs.
And this is one of my favorite Eddie McFarlane stories. Like, and if you like this story, give us a thumbs up or a like or something on the channel. But like the curveball is what throws us off, and we let go of the tiller.
We take our hand off, and if we're not driving it, and the thing about it is, we can't control the situation. We can only control a response, and that's what people that get in the game do. They understand that they don't control how much time's on the clock, or what the other team is, or whether the ref's with them. But champions win games regardless, right? They understand what they're in control of and what they're not in control of. And so when you go in and that customer hits you with, well, what's that? You're always, it was working fine until you got here.
Every time you come out here, you
right?
try to charge me something.
You've got your shoe cover on, you're looking up, and it, pew, 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 incoming, right? And so the question is, what do? Well, you could complain and say, well, or you could handle it like a champion. And here's what champions understand, right? Jerry talks about there comes a point in your career where you decide, this is how I'm making my living. This is where I'm hanging my jacket. This is how I'm taking care of my family, right? Because that's what it's all about. Well, you're gonna get these calls, and champions have figured out that the best way to handle the curveball is to be in control. And at small c, appropriate, nothing weird, right? Like just, Mrs. Smith, thanks for sharing that. I can tell you're upset. And what I can tell you is I'm going to be right here with you. I'm going to listen to everything you have to say. I'm going to check out the system. And then you and I are going to figure out the best path forward. And I just want to let you know we're going to get you taken care of. And then we let them, they typically got a bit more, and we go, I understand. And then what can happen is like, well, I'm not paying for anything, then you guys need to figure this out. And the amateur goes off half cock and speaks without thinking. The professional knows that he's got a few things in his pocket that he can pull out, and he'll probably say something like, Mrs. Smith, I forget who said it, but prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. I'm sure you don't want that. Why not I go down, figure out what's going on, and we'll get this figured out together, right? Yeah. That's what you do, and that's what taking control is. When the big waves come, you got to be prepared for them. So as a champion, what are you doing every day to get better, right?
Well, there's only so many things that customer's going to throw at you. So when they throw that, hey, every time you come out here, you try to charge me something. Every time you come out here, you find something wrong. You should be prepared for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should be ready for that. And it might sound something like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. You know, our job as a technician is to just discover the facts and find out what's going on with your system, and then your job as a consumer is to decide what you want to do with that information.
That's
but
right.
as a good doctor, I can't not tell you. I got to tell you. Now, if we come out here and we tell you the same thing, you have a cracked heat exchanger, you have a cracked heat exchanger, you have a cracked heat exchanger.
That's
you probably have a cracked heat exchanger, ma'am, and we should probably do something about it.
That's the bottom line is, and we must remember from our customer's perspective, that's just how they feel. That is their reality, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why, as the professional, we need to decide who is in control of this call. I know when I first started here, I'd pull up, I'd have my game head on, and I'd go in, I'd be like, hey, you know, I'm like all chirpy, you know how I am. And I'd put my shoe covers on, and the next thing you know, 45 minutes later, I'm standing out by my truck with my clipboard trying to decide what just happened because I wasn't in control. I didn't do the best job. And the reason control is so important is because our customers are counting on us to be able to give them everything they need to get the full value of our service because we're professionals and that's what we're there for.
All right, so what if I don't get in the game as much as other guys? What if I'm the preventive maintenance technician? I'm new in my career. What if I'm the $59 clean and check guy, and those are the only calls they give me? What do I do about that, Eddie?
So it's a great question, and here's the reality. I was that $59 cat. I was that one. So here's what I did. Like, I would go to, I worked for a good company that would invest in things like this. We would hear messages like this regularly. I would consider those Hail Mary calls, right? Like, if they're not going anywhere, and man, I would just be dumb enough to try the stuff that I heard. I'd walk in and go, I understand how you feel. A lot of customers felt that way. What they found was, I'd be like, wow, that worked, right? And sure enough, when I went in thinking that these calls, there was something I could learn on every single call, man, those calls got pretty good. And after a while, they were pretty good for everybody to run. And here's the deal. You can learn something on every single call. That knee pad you're kneeling on in front of the furnace, those are installation instructions. Go ahead, open those up. There's a whole world of magic and mystery. You can actually learn everything you need to know from the magical knee pads. True story.
You know, it's funny that when you get that technician that says, I get these $59 calls, and I can't do anything with them. If I had better calls, I could perform better.
Sure.
And the fact is, like, pay comes after performance. Now, that might hurt a little bit, but we talked about Marlin's Law, and we're going to tell you the truth here. And clarity is kindness, as my friend Eddie McFarlane likes to say. But listen, you got to perform on those calls because pay comes after performance.
Right on. And performing can look like a lot of different things. And hear us. This isn't just about like selling humidifiers or air scrubbers. This is about taking care of customers. And if you can't find one good way to excel and learn on every call, your head's not in the game because there's ample opportunities for you to be an indoor comfort specialist, a safety specialist, a finance specialist, a thermodynamics expert, a low voltage expert. There's something to learn on every call. But here's the deal: you gotta do it. And before you're like, yeah, thanks for the Tony Robbins seminar, guys. My teeth are big. I don't think they're that big. But the deal is, you've got to want it for yourself, because here's the thing about the dinghy is you made a promise to your family, maybe to your kids. Maybe you're gonna be the first one to put your kids through college, and you run all these calls and you see this lifestyle for everybody out there. That is totally available to every blue collar brother and sister, but you got to put the work in and you got to be the best at what you do. And what I've learned is champions don't wait to be given things to give things in return. They give without expectation, they invest in themselves, and the dirty little truth is nobody should care about your career more than you. So when you get the choice, By the way, like, I don't care if they put you in the warehouse for 3 weeks to sweep up. Take a NAIT course. You know, some people love them. Some people think they're a test. Invest in yourself. Find something. Go home. Google it. We literally live in the information age. And what I've learned, again, not from me, but from the thousands of people that I've been able to work with over the years, is champions don't wait. Like,
They don't wait.
There's two kinds of, like, I talk about this a lot, there's two kinds of soldiers, right? There's the kind that hit the beach as a group and somebody says, okay, you have to go over there. Hey, I think this is how it is. I've never been in the army. You have to go there double time and hey, go up that hill, and then when you see them, and then there's a plan and someone has to organize all that, and if all goes well, you know, mission accomplished. Then there's people that hit the beach, all their gear's gone, they've got a knife between the teeth, and they're going to take that bunker because that's what they said they would do. And we all know people like that, and they're inspiring. And my challenge this morning is, who are we inspiring, and which one of those cats are we?
Yeah, hey, I had a really good technician that worked with us one time, David Hickey. He's a fan of the Toolshed. And David would go into people's homes and he would see a thermostat that he'd never seen before. And instead of saying, oh, I've never seen that thermostat, later he would download that thermostat, the instruction manual to that thermostat, and he did this over and over and over. So when he saw a thermostat he hadn't seen before, he would say, hey, I actually have that downloaded, and we can look at it together, Mr. Customer, and we can figure this out. And that's how champions think.
His hand was on the tiller, and he wasn't letting anybody take his hand off because he was steering that boat where he wanted to go.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. All right, so let's turn this into a task for the day. Today, I want you to focus on what you can control. That's it. That's the point of life. Wise men say, you know, divide things into 2 columns, that what you control and that what you can't, and our job is to focus on what we can control, which is usually ourselves and our actions. So focus on what you can control, every single call, every single interaction, whether it's with dispatch, whether it's with the customer, especially with our loved ones, focus on what you can control.